Does your business feel true to your values? So take a look at that and see. And if it's out of alignment, then you're going to have to make some changes.
I am Gloria Grace Rand, founder of the Love Method and author of the #1 Amazon bestseller, Live, Love, Engage: How to Stop Doubting Yourself and Start Being Yourself. In this podcast, we share practical advice from a spiritual perspective on how to live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically, so you can create a life and business with more impact, influence, and income. Welcome to Live, Love, Engage.
Namaste. Have you noticed how your business often carries the weight of old stories and other people's definitions of success? Well, as we stand on the threshold of 2025, it's time to create something different, a vision that aligns with your highest purpose while actually feeling good. So today, we are going to be mixing strategy with soul through a chakra-aligned approach to planning. No more forcing yourself into someone else's success template. So what I encourage you to do is perhaps pause this for a second and grab a journal and then come back and finish listening or watching, depending, because you're going to want to take some notes so you can create your most aligned year yet. And for those of you who may be new to the podcast, I am Gloria Grace, Light Messenger, and I help female entrepreneurs really align with their soul so that they can overcome self-doubt, overcome poor self-worth, and really be able to attract their ideal clients in a way that really feels good to them. So as I said, it's the end of the year. I don't know about you, but boy, 2024 certainly went by fast. And this is typically a time for reflection. And actually, I did a podcast episode a few weeks ago where I talked about making this year-end review a sacred time and to be able to take your time with it. So I'm hoping that you've already done that because, it's been, whatever celebration you celebrate, whether it's Hanukkah or Christmas or Kwanzaa, perhaps, most of those are just about done now. And now we're heading into, we're on the cusp of this brand new year. So hopefully you've already taken a look at your bottom line and see where you are and how well you did with accomplishing your goals. And now I want to encourage you to go deeper and do some journaling, not necessarily at this moment, but after the episode is done, do some journaling around what wisdom, that's what I meant to say, what wisdom your business journey has revealed to you this year. So, take a few minutes and ponder that. And I'm going to be doing that myself because I want to be able to, I have some ideas of what I want to accomplish now in 2025, but I think it is a good idea to still really focus on what is some of that wisdom that you gain. And now you can, because once you do that, it's always good to have an idea of like where you were so that now you know where you want to go. And that's what we're really going to dive in here to do today. And I have came up with this wonderful way, and I will tell you part of it is it's related to the chakras. And I find that this is I'm going to do this for myself as well because I think it's a really great way to be able to plan out and where you want to go. And for those of you who may be like, chakras, I know most of you probably are very well versed in this because I'm trusting that. But in case you're not, let me just tell you what they are. So basically, the chakras, there's at least 7 of them. I think some people say there's like 10, but there's 7 main ones, let's put it that way, that are energy centers in your body, and they sort of go along your spine. They start at the base of your spine. That's like the root chakra. And then they go up, there's a sacral chakra down right above the root chakra. Then there's the solar plexus, which is kind of your tummy area. Then you've got, let's see, what do we've got? We've got solar. Oh yeah. Then we got the heart, of course, the heart chakra. Then there's a throat chakra. Then there's the third eye, which is in like the middle of your forehead. And then there's a crown chakra, which is right above your head. Well, all of these they influence our physical, emotional, and spiritual health. And you can also apply them to your business because, our business it's a living entity in a way too. And in fact, I think I talked about this on that episode when I was doing the year-end review. And because especially if you're a solopreneur, you sort of think of your business as your baby anyway. So why not look at it from this energetic standpoint? And I think you'll understand as I go through this. So I'm just going to this is going to be the bulk of our episode today, is focusing in on this because I think it's a really great way, a unique way to really look at your business. So looking at the root chakra, this is business foundations. So when you've got a healthy root chakra, this ensures that your business has a strong foundation that can withstand challenges and setbacks. So what does that look like? Well, that means taking a look at, how financially stable your business is. What are your pricing structures that you've got going on? What type of systems do you have in your business right now? And are they serving you? Are they really serving you well? Are you using automation tools, for instance? Are you, taking advantage of platforms? I'm thinking, I used to use Asana. I kind of got away from that. Now I'm using Notion, not totally as effectively as I would like, but it does help me stay organized in different ways. And Google Calendar I use a lot. So things like that. You can also look at your client agreements and contracts and just take a look at these things and then ask yourself. And again, what I would encourage you to do right now is I'm going to encourage you to write down these questions in your journal and then go back after this episode is done and answer these questions. So I would challenge you right now to write down this. Here's the question. Where does your business need stronger roots? So that could be something that you can take a look at. Now, the sacral chakra, as we move up, the sacral chakra is all about creativity. So this in your business represents that ability to think outside the box and come up with new ideas that can drive growth and success in the new year. So this is a good way you can think about your content creation process and see, again, you can kind of look at what's worked so far and maybe see where you want to take it in the new year. Look at, are you wanting to develop new services or programs in the new year? Evaluate your client relationships and see how that's going. And then ask yourself, here's another question, what wants to be expressed through your business? And I know for me, I just launched my Align to Shine Academy. And so I'm going to be doing that again in 2025. I'm going to be launching it again in February, and I am going to be refining it now once I've evaluated the feedback that I've received from the people who are in the program. And so even today, just actually coming up with this business assessment, well, not today, but developing this is I want to be able to implement this somehow in that program. I'm not sure what that's going to look like yet, or it might be a different iteration, but I think this is a really cool way to evaluate our business. Okay, that's the sacral chakra. Now, the next one, moving up, is the solar plexus, and this is about authority. And so it represents in your business like time and goals management, self-confidence, and your ability to lead and make decisions with confidence and authority. So take a look at how are you at making decisions, and what is your leadership style, and how are you at setting boundaries? I know I've had some episodes in the podcast this past year about boundaries, and I'm sure I'm going to be revisiting that again in the new year as well. So here's the question to ask yourself is, how can you step more fully into your power in 2025? So really take a look at, and again, this is all, it is, even though I said at the beginning that we wanted to like go back and review, but I think even as you're going through this, use this as an opportunity to, again, reflect on where you were in 2024 and where you want to be in the new year. And so see if you can come up with ideas for this, and see how you can use this information to inform where you want to go. The next chakra, the heart chakra. This is about your ability to connect with clients, with customers, with employees if you have them, even if they're virtual employees. Maybe you've got some folks on who help you in that respect. How are you connecting with them on an emotional level so that you can really create a sense of community and loyalty? So this is about, number one, how is your brand messaging? Are you really putting forth your authentic self in your messaging? Or are you still kind of copying maybe somebody else? So take a look at that and see, maybe I want to be able to tweak something. It could even be tweaking your pictures. Maybe you need to freshen up your image as well. Also, how are you delivering your services? How do you want to be able to deliver them in the new year? Do you want to make some improvements there? And how are you engaging your community? And this can be through email, it could be social media. What do you want to focus on in the new year? Maybe you've been focused on one social media platform in 2024, and now maybe you're ready to branch out and add another one. Because I will tell you, in my years of working as a business owner, there's so many different ways that we can connect with people. And especially if you're a new business owner, I always recommend that you start with one platform first and really get that one down before you add any others to it. So that's that kind of thing. And here's the question again to ask yourself. Does your business feel true to your values? So take a look at that and see. And if it's out of alignment, then you're going to have to make some changes to that. So encourage you to think about that. Let's see here. So now we're moving up to the throat chakra here. Okay. And this is what is all this about? This is our voice. This is our communication. This is being able to communicate effectively with, again, clients, employees, coaches, even let's say if you hire coaches, how are you communicating with them? How are you building trust and fostering collaboration? Maybe you've got some collaborating partners. Maybe you're even in a mastermind. How are you communicating with everyone in a mastermind or a networking group? So again, we go back to looking again at your marketing messages. Do you do public speaking? Do you give webinars and presentations? Look at your speaking style. Maybe you haven't been doing them, and maybe you want to start doing those in 2025. So if you haven't been doing a lot of public speaking, I highly encourage you to get some training. Hire a speaking coach. I've had several speaking coaches over the years, and I know there are still things that I could improve upon. And that's okay. We always have to grow. And that's why I have hired different speaking coaches, or I've worked with different speaking coaches over the years, because there are different ways and different times. And, we're humans. We go on this journey. And so there's always something else that we want to be able to improve upon. Communication systems, how do you communicate with your clients? How do you communicate with staff? Do they like to communicate with email? Do they prefer texting? Do they like WhatsApp or Facebook message? Or, all these different ways that we have of communicating, or maybe even through Zoom. There's so many different ways. So you might want to take a look at that and maybe evaluate, maybe even do a survey. A great way to do is do a survey of your tribe and say, hey, how do you want to be? What's the best way for me to communicate with you? And here's the question then, as you're pondering all this, to ask yourself, is your true voice coming through in all of these ways that you communicate? So is it really your true voice? I will tell you here, I'm going to admit to something. Years ago, I was like crunched for time. I was trying to send out some sort of promo or some sort of email. And I had a friend who I loved what she did in her email. And I essentially pretty much copied it almost word for word, just changed a few things and sent it out to my list. And of course, she was on my list and she called me on it and she was not happy with me. And I had to really apologize and say, yeah, I'm so sorry. You're right. Yeah, I absolutely should have changed that. So I wasn't being me. I was emulating her in just trying to cut corners. And that's not a good way, not a good thing to do. So you really want to have it be in your voice. And I know nowadays too, we've got social media out there, which is great. Not social media. That's not what I meant. Yes, we do have that. But I meant artificial intelligence, tools like ChatGPT and Claude. And some of them can get very close to sounding like you because you can really train them by uploading material that you've done already, and they can start to learn your voice. But it's still good, even when you have, even with whatever you get from them, it's still going to be good for you to still go in and just tweak it a little bit. I mean, I love using Claude. Claude is like one of my favorites right now for this, and I still go in as like, okay, thank you. I've got this good, you gave me a good outline to go for, but I'm still going to put my own 2 cents worth in there. I still want it to be me. And that's so important. So yeah, I think I did the question, right? Is your true voice coming through? Okay. All right. Just want to make sure. All right. Third eye up here. Now we are evaluating your vision. So this is your ability to make strategic decisions based on intuition and foresight rather than just data and analytics. And I know I have talked about this on the podcast earlier this year about the importance of also trusting your intuition. This has become frankly, my best friend for running my business. It is so important. It really is to start really leaning into your intuition because you've got all the answers inside of you, or you've got what is inside of you is some hints about how to find the answers. So if you do have to hire someone, for instance, so really you want to evaluate your business planning, your strategic direction for the year, your intuitive guidance. And I will tell you, for me, what I found has worked are like 2 main things to help you hone your intuition. Number 1 is mindfulness or meditation. I mean, I do meditation every day, and journaling. Because those are 2 really great ways for you to be able to tap into that inner guidance that you have. So the question that you want to ask yourself is, what's your higher vision for 2025? And don't be afraid to just dream big. and I know I did talk about this too. You can set goals in your business of like, how much money you want to, what kind of revenues you want to generate in the coming year, or each quarter you want to do that. But you also want to have this big, hairy, audacious goal. So let's say I want to reach a million people, and I want to make, $10 million next year in revenues or something like that. That's the big dream, and there's nothing wrong with having this big dream. And I would also say this higher vision might also be about, how do you want to connect with people? How do you want people to perceive you and your business in 2025? What are your values? When people see you or they read about you, what are those values that you're projecting? So maybe think about that as well. Then finally, the last chakra, the crown, is this is that ability to see the big picture and make decisions that align with your company's long-term vision and purpose. So again, think about, if you've had a business mission, does it need to be tweaked? Maybe you want to tweak it going forward into the new year. Look at the impact of measurement, what things are you wanting to measure, and your spiritual alignment. How aligned are you? And ask yourself, how is your business serving your highest purpose? And one of these days, I may do a podcast on a tool that I've been using lately. It's been very fascinating. It's something called the Gene Keys. And if you go to 𝘵𝘂𝘶.com, you can get a free profile that helps you to look at, like, what is your life's work? What is your purpose? And I'm not going to go into what it's all about, how they come up with these things, because it can get quite complicated. But I will tell you is that my purpose, my highest purpose for me, is to be the light. And I call myself the light messenger. And I called myself the light messenger before I started looking into Gene Keys, which I found like, oh, okay, I guess I'm in alignment there. So it was kind of cool to be able to realize that I really want to be the light in the world, and I want to help others shine their light. So that's sort of my highest purpose of myself, but also of my business too, because that's why, again, I created this Aligned to Shine Academy, because I really want to empower women entrepreneurs in particular to shine their light, to be able to have their business be that light for others. And so that's kind of what I'm about with that. So yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that helps you a lot today in coming up with, looking at your business and how you want to move forward into the new year. So now that you've done that, just have a couple more things I want to talk to you about real quick. And so the next thing to do would be see about setting 3 core intentions for what you'd like to develop or see happen in your business in 2025. And I have a really wonderful tool to help you with this, especially if you don't, maybe you've got like one intention, but maybe you don't have 3. So if you need some help with doing that, I have a free meditation that you can use. It's based on light language, so I channel some light language, and that you can listen to. And it's only about 5 minutes long. But while you're listening to, or before you even listen to it, set an intention for yourself that you will gain some clarity on what you want your business to look like, and help you come up with one of these core intentions. So you can download this you can access it, the link to it, for free by going to GloriaRand.com/free meditation. And I will have that in the show notes as well. So hope that will help you out. And So once you have these intentions, now you can start the nitty-gritty stuff, right? Because now you're going to have to figure out how to get there. And because let's face it, that's we do have to come up with a list of steps and different things. And you can use, you can just write things down, write an outline, you can mind map it. But just as an example, so let's say you want to launch a new program in 2025. So now you're going to need to start brainstorming, like, what's going to be involved in that? Like, for instance, for me, I always like to start with setting a launch date so that I know, okay, I want to have this, we're going to start on this date. And, typically you want to make that, let's say 60 to 90 days out to give yourself time to do all of the other preparation work, like figuring out your pricing, figuring out your promotion, how are you going to market this, then getting all of those pieces together. Maybe you need like a landing page, or are you going to be doing like an email campaign or a social media campaign? I mean, there's so much involved in that. I'm not going to go into all that on this podcast. I'm sure you probably are well-versed in that. So, and maybe you've done one already. So all you need to do is sort of copy things, but you still need to make a list of these things and set, what do they say? The SMART goals, so that they're measurable and achievable and realistic and time something. I forget what the S was, but oh well, whatever. Google it. Go to Google SMART goals and you'll get it. And I will tell you, because again, it's the end of the year and you're doing all this planning. Unless you're like one of those people who is just like, I'm going to just power through and get it all done at once, you might want to break it up, do a little bit at a time. You might want to get some help with this, perhaps. Maybe, again, if you work with a coach, or maybe you've got a business partner, ask them for some help and some guidance. You don't have to do all this stuff on your own, and you don't have to do it all at once necessarily. But it does need to get done. And in fact, I'm going to be doing this year now. I bought some tools. There are these lovely planning books. Each quarter has a new book, and I am bound and determined to use these this year because I bought them like 2 years ago. Sort of let it slide, but this year I'm going to use them. So that's one thing I'm going to use to help me with this step. So there we go. I think that's going to be it. I think I've covered a lot. And I hope this was beneficial for you today. And I would love to hear your vision for 2025. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Gloria Grace Rand. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment and leave a comment after it. And I will definitely, I will see that. And I would love to be able to read it. And of course, be sure that you are subscribed on either your favorite podcast platform, or subscribe to the podcast on YouTube as well, so that you will be notified when the next episode comes out. And okay, yeah. So until then, have a very happy and safe New Year, especially if you are, going to celebrate. If you're going to a party, make sure that you've got. If you'd like to indulge in alcohol, get a designated driver to take you home, call Uber, whatever. And as always, especially going forward from now and through 2025, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.